I'm Emily Mashak, and you are listening to Town Square Media's public affairs show, Tuned In to NoCo, the program that lets you know what matters in NoCo. I'm sitting down today with Mary Vivo and Allie Wells, the Executive Director and Care Navigator at Hope Lives, an assistance program for patients in treatment for breast cancer through survivorship planning. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And I brought you in today because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month every October, and I wanted to shine a light on this disease. But before we get into that, I want to start with the basics. In your own words, what is Hope Lives?
Hope Lives is a nonprofit business that services all of the Front Range, so that would be all of Larimer County and all of Weld County. And we're sort of a broker system. We help people navigate through breast cancer treatment and then on into survivorship. So we partner, actually contract with local professionals, we call them providers, that offer either the service or the product that there's proven data that helps, that either service or product helps with the treatment of breast cancer. So Allie's our patient navigator. She's doing a fabulous job. She sees all the clients one-on-one personally. There's an orientation process with that. But we exist to add quality of life to the patient while they're in breast cancer treatment. So we help with the physical, the emotional, the social, and the financial aspects of all of that.
Can you tell me more about how Hope Lives was founded here in Northern Colorado?
Hope Lives was founded about 18 years ago by a woman named Lydia Doty. She's a breast cancer survivor and has owned several businesses in the area. And like a lot of people, once you've gone through some type of trauma, they want to do a give back to the community. And so they created the nonprofit. We're like all nonprofits, we're funded through the community. So through private contributions, through grants, through federal grants, events that we hold throughout the year. And so that's what sustains us.
How did each of you find your way to Hope Lives? And can you tell me a bit more about each of your roles there personally?
Gosh, I worked at another women's health organization, and that kind of ran its course as it does. It was heavily into healthcare, and at the time, the healthcare reform was kicking in, and so the board of directors decided that it had fulfilled its mission. And so from there, just so happens that Hope Lives was looking to expand their program and grow, and they were looking for an executive director. And so I took that position, and like a lot of us, you tap into people you know, and so I started hiring a lot of the people that we networked with at Women's Resource Center, and kind of fast forward, there came Allie, and she's a perfect fit.
Yeah. So I found out about Hope Lives through a mutual friend that we have, a family friend that we have, and she said that they were looking for someone in that position, and I have a huge passion for the cancer world. I have a lot of connections to patients that are in treatment, and I love working with patients that are in treatment. It's so rewarding to work with the women one-on-one and to see them through the treatment process. So when I saw the job posting and when I heard about it through our mutual friend, I had to apply for it, so we just kind of got going from there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. Is it challenging to have to work with them one-on-one?
It is, yeah. I think that it's challenging sometimes, but I think the reward outweighs the challenge by tenfold. It's so nice to be able to make a personal connection with everyone in the program and to be able to talk to them throughout their entire treatment process, help them navigate everything that comes along with being in treatment. And I don't know, the connection with them is just so amazing.
Mm-hmm. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What do each of you think people need to be more aware of or may not know about in terms of breast cancer?
Well, specific to our programs, it's the awareness that your family member, your friends, your coworker, anybody that you know that's diagnosed with cancer, in this case we're talking about breast cancer, but really any cancer diagnosis, that they so need your help and your love and your support. We live in an area that is very philanthropic, and we all know the big national names that are out there that put a lot of time and effort and funds into research and outreach education, which is why we're screening earlier, so there's more early detection. But all of those people funnel down into our program, because I kind of call it the left behind people. So now you've been diagnosed with cancer, now what? And so our program is the only one of its kind in the state. Our dream is to go statewide, because we help people and meet them right where they're at. We help them while they're in treatment. So fabulous healthcare systems here in Colorado. They do the medical side. That's what they're there to do. They do a great job. But how do you get through everyday life? What do you do when you've got toddlers and they don't understand, or you want to keep your job because you still need a paycheck? Or, how do you clean your home and you're just feeling crummy? How do you get to the other side? So that's what Allie does.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I get told a lot is that it affects people of all ages. A lot of people think that it really is for women who are either postmenopausal or on the older side, but we do see quite a few people in their late 20s and early 30s. So really being aware of your own health and getting all the checkups you need, all of the self-checks and everything like that to really stay on top of it. Early diagnosis is key, especially with breast cancer. If caught early, there's over a 99% survival rate. So it's amazing to see the awareness out there for all of the younger women and to see that growing.
Can you tell me more about the different stages of breast cancer? I was looking on your website and seeing some of the stories of people, and some were stage 1, some were stage 3. Can you tell me a little bit more about what those mean?
So the staging is really, really confusing, especially I don't understand a ton about it, especially for breast cancer, because a lot of genetic testing goes into the staging. So someone in an earlier stage can be in a more intense treatment than someone in a later stage. So I don't know if the staging necessarily has to do with treatment plan or has to do with how long you'll be in treatment. Stage 4 is obviously a little bit different than the other cancers. Usually stage 4 means that it's not curable at that point. And we do see quite a few women that are stage 4 diagnosis. So the staging doesn't really have much to do with what we do, just because we are helping you through the treatment process, and the treatment process looks pretty similar for all of the stages.
I think another misnomer is that it's more of an older woman's disease. And because there's so much more screening that's taken place, we're seeing younger and younger patients come through our doors. So it's kind of bittersweet. We're there and we exist to help them, but at the same time, it's pretty rough when you see somebody in their 20s.
Yeah, that would be hard. How soon do you recommend getting screening if it can happen to someone as soon as their late 20s?
So we usually recommend that you go by the American Cancer Society guidelines. That's a great rule of thumb to just, look at their sites, because they work with the Cancer Institute, and, those healthcare, the world of healthcare is constantly changing. And so just go by what your doctor recommends, your GYN. Just make sure you have a great relationship with them, and see what they have to say. If there's a family history, I guess, we kind of look at it like, if there's a family history or there's some caution, that kind of better safe than sorry, and find out sooner so that you can deal with it.
Once someone is diagnosed with breast cancer, how can they find their way to Hope Lives?
So usually once you're diagnosed at one of the hospital systems, they'll set you up with either a social worker or a care navigator in their system. And most of the time they give you a brochure for Hope Lives. If not, you're always welcome to check out the website. There's a really simple application on there, a great link to my email, so you can send me an email and I can get in touch. But usually the brochure comes in a packet once you're diagnosed with breast cancer, and you have that talk with your social worker. And I do work one-on-one with a lot of the social workers, so they do know quite a bit about the program.
Can you tell me more about some of the support services you offer individually? I know you help physically, mentally, emotionally. What does that look like once you're in?
So we have a lot of providers that work in acupuncture, which is huge. A lot of women come to our program specifically for acupuncture. It's used more than 40% of our services are towards acupuncture. So we have quite a few providers there. It helps with a lot of the side effects, especially from chemotherapy. We have massage therapists. We have lymphatic drainage massage therapists. We have typical, normal, just standard therapists, and music therapy we do as well. We do some skincare, physical therapy. We do biofeedback, which is kind of interesting, and mindfulness. guiding on mindfulness so that you can help manage your stress, which is huge for recovery time and as well as mental health. We do transportation. We provide products such as wigs and mastectomy supplies.
Just about everything it takes to get through everyday life. One of my favorite categories is body image. That's usually pretty big for women. And most people realize that you lose your hair on your head, and so you might wear a wrap or a wig. What they might not realize is you lose all the hair on your body. So we work with professionals that do eyebrow microblading and eyelashes and makeup, because when you don't have any hair on your face, you kind of, you lose your image. There's not much there. And so we bring that back, and particularly important to a woman. If you don't have your eyebrows, you don't see your facial expression. And a lot of people do continue to work. And so they don't want to stand out in a negative way. And I think a woman at any age wants to feel attractive. And so we try to put part of that back in.
Obviously, there are so many challenges that come with having breast cancer. Would you say that body image is probably the number one, or what else are these women dealing with?
Oh man, there's so much that comes with it. I think I see a lot of women who struggle with family issues. A lot of women have kids who can't understand or who they're having a hard time explaining it to. I've met with a couple of women who have special needs children who they don't know how to explain it to. I think the family impact is huge, especially relationships with spouses. We have a few women in the program who are struggling to find jobs, to keep jobs, to have an income, to pay for everything that they have to pay for. The bills are huge. It's hard to imagine until you've seen them. And I don't know, I think there are a lot of daily struggles that come along with it. Feeling physically healthy is huge. The treatments themselves are so harsh on your body, and a lot of women have a really hard time even getting out of bed in the morning. So there are so many problems that come along with the treatment and the emotional side effects of having to deal with life as a whole, and the fact that eventually you're going to die. A lot of people struggle a lot with that emotional side of that, and then there's everything else that comes along with it.
Is it possible for people to donate or volunteer at Hope Lives if they want to help with the care of these women?
Both of those questions are answered on our website. So our website is hopelives.org, and you can financially contribute that way. Occasionally, we do have items, non-cash items that we need. There's a wish list on the website as well. And then volunteering, we try to update that as well. Most of the volunteer opportunities are sitting on a committee of some sort. But we're looking at other ways where people maybe could mentor another cancer patient if you've already gone through cancer treatment. So there's a variety of ways that you could get involved. If you want to learn more and you're just not sure and you don't know how much time you have, just give us a call at the office, 970-225-6200, and we're happy to chat with you.
When I was looking on your website, I was reading a lot of the stories of your ambassadors that you have, and I was just so inspired reading them and seeing how strong all of these women are. Do you have any personal stories with women that you've worked with that have really inspired you since you've been at Hope Lives?
Yeah, I have quite a few, actually. I love meeting with the women. Usually orientations are about 20 minutes long. Usually we sit for about 20 minutes and I go through the packet. On rare occasions, I end up sitting there for a couple of hours with women who just want to sit and chat. They needed someone to talk to. I've met a few women. It's been amazing to meet them and get to know their families through them and follow them through treatment. We've had a couple of patients who are pregnant while they are in our program. So it's really, really amazing to see them through the treatment, through a pregnancy, going through all of this all at once. There's so much going on in your body just by being pregnant, and then cancer on top of that it is incredible to see. We've had a mother-daughter that have been part of our program. They were in the program at the same time. They were diagnosed, I think, within a couple of weeks of each other. The daughter learned of her diagnosis the day of her mom's surgery, so it just kind of, timing was not on their side, or maybe it was if you look at it that way. We've had a couple of women who are really, really young who are struggling to keep their families stable. I've met with a couple of women who are asking for jobs in the community, that are looking for places to get an income. And it's awesome to be able to connect them with some people in the community that can get them on the right path as far as that goes. I think that navigating with the women and finding the problem for each woman and helping them find a solution is amazing. And there are so many different stories of women in completely different circumstances to work with them through that.
Just to kind of tag on to that, we hear a lot that people don't want to go back to the cancer center. And, we have some great cancer centers here locally, but when it comes to our services, they just want to stay away from the hospital. So we try to create an office environment that's calming and soothing, where they can come in and you can feel that. You can sense that there's just some peace in that. And some clients come in and just kind of sit and cry just because they feel safe there. And loved, and they can feel vulnerable. And so we try to create that atmosphere that it's not that clinical environment. It's not one more visit to the doctor's office, but yet do what we need to do. So oftentimes, Allie will meet people at a coffee shop. It just depends on their level of comfort and their openness.
I love that we have such a personal resource for people with breast cancer here in Northern Colorado. And I want to thank you, ladies, for coming in today and helping raise awareness for breast cancer. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Again, that was Mary Vivo, the Executive Director of Hope Lives, and Allie Wells, the organization's Care Navigator. Hope Lives is an assistance program for patients in treatment with breast cancer. If you would like to learn more about Hope Lives or breast cancer in general, visit hopelives.org.